Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Christmas in Arkham 2022. Coming off the worst spell ever cast in the history of God and Forever, we're up on Shub-Niggurath 2-0 on the scoreboard, so mathematically we have the win locked up for this year's Christmas in Arkham. It's been a very busy December on the channel with new weeknight videos and Christmas in Arkham. Today, Christmas in Arkham vs. Shub-Niggurath reaches its climax with the last game of the campaign, Elder Sign. We chased her into Arkham after our game of Eldritch Horror, and then into Miskatonic Museum from Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. Like Arkham 2nd Edition, our goal here is to seal away the Ancient One using Elder Signs to do it. This game has been called Cthulhu Yahtzee by some, and as we get into this playthrough, it won't be hard to see why. But if the Ancient One awakens, we'll have to go through another final battle. As we don't have any special versions of Shub-Niggurath, we have just the one version. So with that, let's go through the Elder Sign version of our adversary. So as we see, this is the Elder Sign version of Shub-Niggurath. She needs 10 Doom to awaken, 7 of which will put monsters out. So I want to keep the rewards from adventures to a minimum on the monster front, but we'll see what the deck decides to do on that front. You can see the only Dooms that won't put monsters out are 2, 6, and the last one that wakes her up. We need 12 Elder Signs to seal her away, and when we get to the Ancient One battle, we'll need 2 Lore and a Terror to actually hit her. Speaking of Terror, that's how she'll modify the game force, as all monsters have one additional task added to them, consisting of needing a Terror to take it out. Then on attack, when Shub-Niggurath attacks, each investigator must either discard a monster trophy or be devoured. Actually, it's just one trophy, period, not one monster trophy. That would have been absolutely catastrophic, but anyway, that will do it for Shub-Niggurath. Now let's go through the investigators. I have the Dice Tower in shot because per the rules of Christmas in Arkham, and I didn't remember this for Elder Sign last year, per the rules for Elder Sign in Christmas in Arkham, or the Summer of Lovecraft for that matter, since we are coming into this with another win, we will start with an extra item. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and meet each of our investigators. So first up, we have Agnes Baker, the waitress. 6 sanity and 4 health, which I'm representing on these dashboards from Underbites. I don't know if their Etsy store is still around or not. I'll look, and if it is, I'll provide a link to the Etsy store in the description down below. But when I went looking last year, I didn't see it. But anyway. So let's take a look at Agnes. Like I said, 6 sanity, 4 health. Her special ability is Past Lives. When Agnes secures a die on one of her spells, she may change the result of that die to a result of her choice. So that definitely gives us mitigation. And I've also got the extra mini card here from the card game, since I'll use that with all of the investigators for moving around. So as you can see, colorful when she hasn't gone yet, black and white when she has. So it'll serve as a very nice activation marker as well. But anyway, we'll go through her starting spells next, and then we'll roll for her extra possession. So first spell, an alchemical process with a trophy value of 5. That'll be very handy, as we'll see when we go up to the museum. Come on. That's the one thing I don't necessarily like about these polystyrene trays, is they don't handle sleeved cards the best. But anyway, her second spell is Heal. Discard to fully restore an investigator's stamina. So far, we're not finding her ability to be particularly useful. And on her last spell, Bind Monster. After rolling, discard to defeat 1 monster. That will be very handy when we're going up against, as we're up against Shub-Niggurath here, with all the monsters being even stronger. But anyway, I've got a die in the cup. So similar to how we did this for 2nd edition, 1 to 2 will get her an extra common item, 3 to 4 will get her an extra unique item, 5 to 6 will get her a spell. So let's go ahead and see what Agnes is going to draw for an extra starting possession. Agnes will get another spell out of that, so hopefully we can actually get something decently useful here for her special ability. So for her starting spell, she finds Astral travel, which just secures a die, so we can change that to anything we might need. But anyway, I'll get that in there as well. I'm going to use spin down counters to keep track of how many trophies each investigator has at a glance. So Agnes is already starting off with a trophy count of 5. That will do it for Agnes. Now let's go meet our next investigator. Jenny Barnes the Dilettante is next to join the team. Once again, 6 health and 4 sanity like Agnes. And here's her mini card from the card game. Taking a look at Jenny. Trust Fund. At the start of her resolution phase, Jenny may discard 1 common item, clue token, or spell to add the red and yellow dice to her dice pool. And she starts off with a common item and a spell before extra starting possessions. So the common item for Jenny, 45 automatic to give her the yellow die, which we can also toss to her trust fund again to give her the red die as well. And then her spell, Dread Curse of Azathoth, to secure two dice. I wish I could trade that over to Agnes, but unfortunately you can't trade items in this game. Come on, get back in there. There we go. Alright, and then we've got the die already in the cup, so we'll roll for Jenny's extra starting possession. A 2 gets her another common item. So another item that she can toss to her trust fund, and we find a cross. Before rolling, discard to become blessed, which we might want to keep anyway, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. That will do it for Jenny. Now let's move down to our third investigator. Carolyn Fern, the psychologist, is next. 6 health and 4 sanity like Agnes and Jenny. Taking a look at her special ability. Psychology. Once per day at the start of any player's turn, Carolyn may cause any one investigator of her choice, including herself, to gain 1 sanity. And she starts off with a common and a unique item. So Carolyn's common item is a museum map. Before moving, discard 1 adventure card, along with all monsters on it, replacing it with a new adventure card. This card cannot affect otherworld cards. So if we really need something in particular, or a reward or penalty is especially punishing, we can use that to get rid of it. And then her unique item, an enchanted knife to give her a plus red die. And then rolling for her extra starting possession. A 1 gets her another common item. So Carolyn will find a cavalry saber to give her another yellow die. So actually Carolyn's decently tooled up. But anyway, that will do it for Carolyn. Now let's move over to our last investigator. Trish Scarborough, the spy, is the last investigator to join the team for this leg of the campaign. 5 health and 5 sanity, so she's our strongest health investigator, but also our weakest sanity one. Her special ability, breaking the limits. When Trish fails to complete a task, she may lose 1 sanity and 1 stamina instead of setting aside a die. The sanity is basically like a no big deal because we've got Carolyn on the team. The stamina we'll have to be a little bit more careful with. Anyway, she starts with a common item and a clue. The clue can be used in this game to reroll all of your dice rather than 1 like in 2nd edition or Eldritch. But anyway, then for her starting common item, Flamethrower, which gives her plus either die. Plus either the yellow or the red die. And then we've got to get an extra possession for Trish as well. A 4 gets her a unique item. So Trish will find Kabbalah of Sabath. Before rolling, discard to return up to 2 discarded dice to your dice pool. Ooh. We could use that if we have a particularly dangerous adventure that we need to complete. But anyway, once I get this in here, that will do it for Trish. Now we need to go through the entrance. Passing a turn at the entrance is always an option in Elder Sign. So here's what you can do at the museum. You can receive first aid, choosing 1 treatment from the list below. Heal either 1 sanity or 1 stamina for free. Pay 2 trophies to fully regain either, or pay 4 trophies to fully regain both. Or you can search the lost and found, rolling a green die for the result. On any investigation result, you lose either 1 or 1. On a lore, you gain a clue token. Peril gets you a common item, and a terror gets you a spell. Or you can buy a souvenir. Buy 1 and only 1. 1 trophy for a clue token, 2 for a common item, 3 for a unique item, 4 for a spell, 5 for an ally, or 10 for an elder sign. And that's where Agnes having the alchemical process with a trophy value of 5 can be very handy for us, because we can potentially use that to bank for something powerful. Usually an elder sign is what we'd be eyeing buying in that situation. But anyway, getting a little bit ahead of myself there. Now let's move back up top, and we'll go ahead and set up our starting adventures along with our starting mythos card. We'll go through our starting adventures first. So first adventure up we have Midnight Visitor. I'll go through the actual flavor text when we get in there. Trophy value of 2. On a terror effect, lose 1 stamina. So if you roll that and you fail to clear anything, you have to lose a stamina. We need 2 peril, and then a peril, a terror, and lose 1 health. Reward gets you a common item, a unique item, and a clue. Fail loses you 2 health and advances doom by 1. Which we'll be putting monsters out and nothing flat. So I don't want to see too many monster rewards or penalties if I can help it. Then our next adventure is a rite of passage. This one's an ordered, so we need to be very careful of it. Trophy value of 2 as well. We need a peril, lose a sanity. Lore, lose a health, then 3 investigation and a terror. Passing it gets you a common item, a spell, a clue, and an elder sign. Failing loses 2 health and advances doom by 1. Then our next adventure Night Watchman, locking a green die already. Oh joy. Trophy value of 2. We need 2 peril, then a peril, and lose a health. Passing gets you an elder sign and 2 common items. Failing loses you 3 health and advances doom by 1. Yikes. Then here, Transported by Magic. 2 trophies. At midnight, for each Otherworld card in play, add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. 6 research, and then 2 lore. Passing gets you 2 spells and an Otherworld adventure. Failing loses a sanity and advances Doom by 1. Then here, Hall of the Dead for 1 trophy. Lore, but there's a monster space there. Then 2 peril, and finally 5 research. Not ordered, thankfully. Passing gets you a clue, a common item, and a unique item. Failing loses you a health. And then, our last starting adventure, Lingering Curse for 4 trophies. Terror, lose sanity and stamina until you have 1 of each remaining. Yikes. Need 3 research, then 2 lore and a peril. Passing gets you 2 unique items and a spell. Failing loses 1 and 1. So we do have a green die locked. And we need a starting mythos card for the game. So our first mythos card up. A heavy burden. Either add 1 Doom token to the Doom track, or 1 investigator with 4 or more sanity must lose 3. Amid the stillness, there is no lingering effect today. Yikes! Well, actually that's all of our investigators who have 4 or more sanity, so I think I will have Carolyn lose 3 because she can heal 1 back at her on the start of her turn. So Carolyn will be the first to take on that heavy burden because I only want to add Doom to the track when I don't have a choice in the matter. But anyway, with that, we're all set to go. So let's move into our first turn with Agnes. Getting that green die locked right out of the gate was a big problem. So, I think we are going to have to send Agnes. We're going to have to send at least 1 investigator down to try to unlock that green die right away. So I think we'll actually go ahead and have Agnes. I think we'll have Agnes go after the Night Watchman right away. Like I said, we've got to try to free that green die right away. Especially since I want to start getting a jump on things, and I kind of want to close this game out quickly before I get too much Doom up on Shub-Niggurath. So, let's move down and see what Agnes is doing. 3 skulls on 5 dice is not a completely obscene ask, especially since we've also got an astral travel, so we've got some mitigation on that. But, let's see what we can do about getting this green die free. Well, there's 1. We can take the lose a health as well. So now all I need is 1 peril, and I can use astral travel to get the other one. Or I can roll the 2 peril naturally and save the astral travel for something more dangerous. So that green die is now unlocked. We got our first Elder Sign. Remember, we need 12 to seal Shub-Niggurath away. So there's our first Elder Sign, and Agnes will get 2 common items. So first up she will find Whiskey. Discard this card instead of losing 1 sanity. And Gambler's Dice. After rolling, discard to reroll any of your dice. And then that will bring her trophy count up to 7, and the flavor text will be our little reward. I was transfixed by his malevolent glare. His face was twisted and misshapen. So that will go to Agnes as a trophy. We'll bring her up to the entrance. She's gone. And our new adventure coming out. Walking the Ledge. 4 peril in an order of 1, then 2. Reward gets an Elder Sign, clue, and 2 common items on passing. Failing loses her 2. Will lose 2 health and a sanity. Then in clock phase, we'll advance to 3 o'clock, and then we'll move back up top to Jenny. Right now, Transported by Magic isn't doing anything at midnight because there are no otherworld adventures in play right now. So, do I just send her... The question is, do I just try to go ahead and unlock one right now, or do I just go for something like Rite of Passage, maybe? Let's see, that would be... They're both going to take a minimum of 4 dice to complete. So, I think... And I've got Dread Curse of Azathoth I could use if I think I want to go for one of those. So, I think... This is a tough one. Because like I said, I could argue for either one to start working on getting Elder Signs early or start flying some otherworld adventures in place. So I think we're just going to go ahead and go down to Transported by Magic to try to get an otherworld adventure out right away. And then we'll move down to Jenny and see what she can get up to. So we're going to use both of Jenny's unique, or Jenny's common items. I'm going to toss the 45 automatic to her trust fund to get her the yellow and red dice. Then I'm going to discard the cross before I roll to become blessed. So we'll see how blessings work in this game, because they work a little bit differently than they do in Eldritch or Second Edition. Not that I don't think I've encountered blessings yet in Christmas in Arkham, but like I said, it's a little different. So when you're blessed, you add the white die to your dice pool at the start of each adventure. You discard this card if you fail an adventure, become cursed, or when the Ancient One wakes up. So we've got a lot of dice here for what theoretically should be a pretty easy adventure, but I'm maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself there. Okay, so we have the 6 research that we need, but we got all kinds of peril and terror. I need lore now. I do have Dread Curse of Azathoth, but I'd rather not waste it on this. I will discard a green die, and I'll focus the lore on Jenny. So now we've got several good rolls here. That's one of them. So now we'll use the lore here and the one I focused on Jenny to clear that adventure. So Jenny will get that as a trophy value, with bringing her up to 2 trophies. We'll get her the rewards, 2 spells, and an Otherworld adventures. This might be more fuel for her trust fund. But anyway, let's see what we've got here. Rack to secure another die. And Conjuration. Oh my. Discard at the start of your turn to search the unique or common item deck for 1 card of your choice. Gain that card, then shuffle the deck. Wow. That could be very useful, but anyway, Jenny gets that as a trophy value of 2. Then we'll need a fresh Arkham, fresh museum adventure, and then an Otherworld adventure. So I'll get that out of the way for the time being. First up, our new museum adventure. Late night break-in for 1 trophy. I'll go through the flavor text as our reward in a second. On a terror, discard 1 trophy of your choice. You need 3 research, but that's a space for a monster to go. Then 6. Passing gets you a clue. Failing loses a health. We'll go through the flavor text on Transported by Magic before we get the Otherworld adventure out. My skin glowed white hot until I had to close my eyes. The floor disappeared under my feet, and I seemed to fall forever. Alright, then our first Otherworld adventure. Lost Carcosa. Trophy value of 2. You need 3 terror and 5 investigation, but there's a space for a monster to go there. Passing gets you 2 elder signs, a clue, and a spell. Failing loses you 3 sanity. So we want to send whoever we think can clear that down to it, which might actually end up being either Trish or Jenny, probably, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. Anyway, that will do it for Jenny. Clock phase will bring us to 6 o'clock, and then we'll move back up top for Carolyn. Before Carolyn even looks at the adventures, she's going to heal a sanity since she took the 3 on our first Mythos card. Now, what do I want Carolyn to try to do here? I think we'll just bring her down to the rite of passage. That should be another, I wouldn't say fairly easy adventure, but we do have some ways to get extra dice if we need them. So, anyway, let's move down into Carolyn's turn. We need a peril up first. which we get. We also have to lose a sanity for that, though. Now we need a lore, but we'll also need to lose a health for that. We also get the lore, and we'll lose a health for that. Now we need 3 research and a terror. Oh, come on, get back in there. We get the 3 research, but not the terror, so I'll discard one of these, and I'll focus the 3 research on Carolyn. I'll toss the enchanted... Actually, I'll toss the cavalry saber to get the yellow die first. So now we just need a terror. And it's 3 dice that theoretically shouldn't be a big ask. That'll work. So we'll take the terror and the 3 research that we focused on Carolyn and clear that adventure. So we'll get her a common item back. An axe to give her the yellow die again. Then a spell, so Carolyn will find. Reach of the Mind. Discard during another investigator's turn to allow her to reroll any number of dice. We get a clue. And we'll get our second. We get a clue and our second of 12 Elder Signs that we need. And Carolyn gets that as a trophy value of 2. Flavor text for our reward. Many of us never discover who we are until reforged by the crucible of adversity. Bring that over to Carolyn. We'll bring her up. And then we need a fresh museum adventure. I'll get the dice tower out of shot. So here we find blood on the floor for 2 trophies. 2 research, then 3, then a lore, and then a peril and a terror. Passing gets you a clue, a common item, and an elder sign. Failing loses 1 and 1. So that will do it for Carolyn. Now let's move back up top for Trish. We don't really necessarily have any kind of pressing priorities right now, because everybody's largely doing well, aside from Carolyn, who took our first Mythos card. Well, I guess I'll bring Trish down to blood on the floor, see if we can keep getting a jump on Elder Signs here. But anyway, with that, let's move down and see what Trish is doing. First up, we need 2 research. I almost forgot. Carolyn's clock phase brings us to 9 o'clock, and now we're ready for Trish. And it's hidden in there. We get 2 research, which we'll use there. Now we need 3. Ugh, that's not great, but we'll take it. Now we need a peril and a terror, and we've got ways to re-roll that. Which we'll use the clue, we'll keep the peril, and I'll re-roll those 2. I'll re-roll the 2 research and the lore. I'm looking for terror here. Which we don't get, so I will have Trish lose 1 and 1 for breaking the limits, and I'll focus the peril on her. And now we need terror. There we go. So we'll take the peril and the terror there. We'll get her clue back. Then we'll get her another common item, so this time Trish will find a dynamite, which gives her the red die. And our third Elder Sign, so we're already a quarter of the way home, and we've barely started the game. So there's our third Elder Sign. Get these dice out of shot. We'll send Trish up to the entrance. The flavor text here. The dark pool on the marble tiles chilled me to the bone. Then I heard the scraping noise. So that'll be a trophy value of 2 for Trish, which puts her on the board. And then we need a new adventure. So here, I also need the dice tower out of shot. So here I will find there's something in the basement for 1 trophy. First up, we need a research value of 6, but a monster can go there. Then a lore, then a terror. Passing gets you a clue and a unique item. Failing gets you loses you a sanity and a stamina. So anyway, clock phase will bring us to midnight, and then that'll bring us back up top for the mythos phase. Mythos phase finds the stars align. Add 1 doom to the doom track. So this will be our first doom on the doom track, and we will need a monster out for this. And we'll pull out, this thing's a beast. A dole for 3 trophies. Advance doom by 1 and 2 skulls. Where do we want to put this? I think I'm going to put this over. I think we'll put it over there's something in the basement. We'll go through the flavor text when we go through that. The stars align for a dark fate. Block the red die for today. Oh, joy. So everything flips over. And it looks like Lost Park. So that thing's actually got a terror task attached to it as well. That's going to be fun. Well, I think we're going to have to turn that into an adventure that we're going to skip. But anyway, that will do it for the Mythos phase. So now let's move into round 2 with Agnes. I wanted to send Jenny down to Lost Carcosa this turn, but I don't think I feel, well, I could probably still do it with still having 8 dice and some mitigation. I'd feel better if I had the red die as well. And sacrificing a turn to try to clear that dole out actually wouldn't be a completely terrible idea, especially with Agnes having a couple of ways to mitigate. And actually, she can just defeat a monster for free, so never mind that plan. I think we will bring her down. I've already committed to putting her on There's Something in the Basement, so I think to putting the monster there. So I think we'll just come down here, and then we'll go ahead and have Agnes take a look at this one. All right, we'll go ahead and get this roll started. Okay, I'll take the lore, and then I believe that's after rolling, yes. So I will cast Bind Monster after rolling, so the dole will be defeated, which means all we need now is a terror. That spin down went flying, so Carolyn has a trophy value of still 2. Okay. Now we need 1 terror and 5 dice. I like our odds of doing that. It's not in there. I don't really want to use astral travel for this, so I will actually just pitch a lore and roll again. I can if I have to use astral travel, but I'd rather not. And I don't have to. So we'll take the lore, the terror there. Agnes will get a clue and a unique item, so Agnes will find Dragon's Eye. Before moving, discard to discard 1 adventure card along with all monsters on it, replacing it with a new adventure card. This card cannot affect otherworld adventures. So it's basically the same thing as the museum map that Carolyn has. Also, bind monsters gone. And Agnes gets the dole with a trophy value of 3. Oh, we also have to advance Doom by 1, so... Right, totally spaced on that. Then the flavor text on here. The ground ripped open and the impossible beast poured forth its massive and slithering length. And then we also get the adventure. With each step of the steeply descending staircase, I sank deeper into a crazed panic. So that's 1 plus 3 is 4 to give her a total trophy value right now of 11, which is hugely significant because now, anytime Agnes needs to pass a turn, I can potentially have her just buy an Elder Sign for us outright. So that's 1. That's 1 in the back pocket. That's an important thing to keep note of. But we are at 2. We are at 2 Doom to effectively 4 Elder Signs. So anyway, we'll go ahead and replace that with Fragments of Knowledge for 2 trophies. 6 research, then a terror, then 2 lore, but a monster can go there. Passing gets you an Elder Sign, a clue, a spell, and a clue. Failing loses you 2 sanity. Then Clock Phase will be 3 o'clock, and we'll move up. And we'll move up top to see what Jenny's doing. Rather than trying to go for a home run with Jenny, I think I'm just going to have her pass the turn in the entrance so I can protect her blessing, because I'm going to probably need it when I plan to come down to Lost Carcosa next turn. So I'll spend her trophies to bring her down to a trophy value of 0, and I think I want a clue here, mostly so I have some kind of mitigation on the... Like I said, so I have some mitigation when I bring her down to Lost Carcosa next turn. So we'll give her that. Clock Phase will bring us to 6 o'clock, and that will bring us into Carolyn's turn. What is Carolyn looking to do this turn? So... This is an interesting decision. Do I gamble on trying to get another Elder Sign? Because right now we're at 3, like I said, effectively 4 when Agnes needs to pass a turn. Yeah, I think I'll bring her down to Fragments of Knowledge, and we'll try to get another Elder Sign on the board. Also, before she moves, she would have healed herself for another sanity. So let's move down and see what Carolyn's doing. Alright, so in any order, we need 6 research, then lore, or then 2 lore, then a terror. And we've got ways to get extra items if I think we need them. There's the terror, which we'll take. Actually, yeah. We'll take the terror because I trust my abilities to roll 6 research again. Let's see, there's this... Do I take a lore? No, I think we'll take the 6 research. And now we've got to roll 2 lore and potentially as many as 5 dice. Unless I decide to burn the clue here, which I might. And I think I will burn the clue here. Gross. So I'll discard a green die, and then I will use the enchanted knife to get her the red die. Oh no, the red die's locked. Never mind, derp. We'll just get her the yellow die then. Ah, that's a problem. So I'll discard that, and both of these have to be lore now. Which that is not. So Carolyn will fail the adventure. She'll lose 2 sanity, going down to 2. Then she is stuck there. Clock phase will bring us to 9 o'clock, and then we'll move back up top for Trish. Trish right now, similarly, doesn't have any big pressing priorities, I don't think. So maybe just going down and helping Carolyn wouldn't be a terrible idea. So I think we'll do that. We'll bring Trish down, and then we've got Carolyn there to focus on as well. So we'll go ahead and move down to Trish. Trish will use the flamethrower to get the yellow die, since the red die is still locked. Then we'll see what we can do here. Okay, there's the... let's take the 3 research out. Let's get the 3 research out of the way first. Then we'll roll that. We'll toss a clue to re-roll all of that. We got nothing we could use. During another investigator's turn. I kind of wanted to use that when I go into the... when I send Jenny into Lost Carcosa. So I'm actually just going to toss a green dot, toss a research, and focus the lore on Trish. Get the other lore, and now we just need to roll a terror again in 3 dice. Like that. That'll work nicely. So that will be our 4th Elder Sign. And again, we're at effectively 5 thanks to... Agnes whenever I want to pass a turn with her. Then we get her a spell. We also get Trish her clue back. Our spell for Trish is Third Eye. Discard after you roll to change any number of results to lore results. And, ooh, that could end up being useful for us. Especially if we want to go for the home run on Lingering Curses, but I'm getting more than a little ahead of myself there. Anyway, we'll take a look at Fragments of Knowledge, which is going over to Trish. Little by little, the shrouded hints began to coalesce into a clear vision of the nightmare that had taken root in this museum. Alright, that'll bring Trish up to a trophy value of 4. That'll bring Carolyn and Trish up. We'll get the dice tower out of shot, and we need a new adventure. So here we find... Horrible Visions. Oh, fantastic. The terrible... or no, we'll go through that later. At midnight, which of course we're going into right now, add 2 Doom tokens to the Doom track. We need a Terror and a Peril, and then a Lore and a Peril. Passing gets you an Elder Sign and a unique item. Losing loses you 2 and 2. Owie, that's gonna hurt. But anyway, okay, so it is going to be midnight, so let's move back up top for the Mythos phase. First thing we need to do at midnight is we put 2 Doom tokens up, which will spawn 2 monsters. Not what we wanted to see here. And we find our 2 monsters. So first up we'll find... Wonderful! A task which keeps the red die locked. So we need 2 lore for that. Okay, we'll put that... Who just got our item that can change... Trish just got that. Discard after you roll. I'm going to put that... here, but that's definitely going to keep the red die locked. And... oh, this thing's a beast. What is that? I think that's the Spectral Hunter. Fantastic. For 4 trophies. So it takes a lore, 2 terror, and a peril. And I've got to put that up here. And then our Mythos card. Personal possessions. Either add 1 Doom token to the Doom track, or the investigators as a group must discard 2 common items. Bring good... so personal possessions. So first we've got to either add a Doom to the track, or discard 2 common items. I think... Agnes will discard the whiskey, and Carolyn... no, Trish is going to discard the dynamite. Because I don't want to put more Doom up. Bring good fortune. Investigators may ignore arrows on adventure cards today. Okay, so that means the only adventure that affects is walking the ledge, which still might not be a terrible thing if we want to try to send somebody to deal with that now. But anyway... that will bring us into the Mythos, or that'll bring us back into a new basically a new round. So let's start with Agnes. The red die is locked, but that's not catastrophic because before her turn starts, Agnes is going to use Dragon's Eye to discard 1 adventure card along with everything on it, replacing it with a new adventure card. This can't affect Otherworld cards. So, that's the unique item, so that's here. We're going to use that on the late night break-in, mostly because I want to make sure the red die is free for when Jenny goes to Lost Carcosa this turn. So anyway, we will find... it's got me for 2 trophies. On a terror, roll 1 green die. On an investigation result, lose stamina equal to the amount of investigation shown. Passing gets you a spell and a clue. Failing loses you a sanity. That might be a little bit easier to swallow here. So I think I will send Agnes down to that. And we'll move... yeah, we'll send Agnes down there. And then we'll zoom down and see what Agnes is doing. We just need to roll 2 of the 3 results naturally, and then we've still got Astral Vision that we can use to roll the other, to get the other one. Well, I can spend a clue, and I will, because I'll get it back if I pass this. I will keep the terror result and roll everything else again. We can also roll the 3 research and the peril naturally. So that will cost Agnes a stamina, and she will clear it. So she'll get a spell, another spell. She'll find Evocation of Horus. You may cast this spell on any investigator's turn. Ooh. So basically, Agnes can now help when Jenny goes into Lost Carcosa. But anyway, that is a trophy value of 2. By pure panicked instinct, I pulled away, which made the pain so much worse, which will bring Agnes up to a trophy value of 13. I'll bring the dice tower out of shot. Agnes will move back up to the entrance, and we need a fresh museum adventure. So we will find Unnatural Habitat, 1 trophy, terror loses stamina, but there's a space for a monster to go. We need 2 peril and 3 research. Passing gets you a spell, failing loses you a health. So with that, let's move back up top for Jenny's turn. Before that, clock face for Agnes's turn, 3 o'clock to Jenny. No bonus points for guessing where Jenny's going. She's going down to Lost Carcosa, which we've been setting up for the last couple of turns. But anyway, now we have our first, I'd say our first real test here, but let's get right into this. Conjuration is going to go toodaloo as Jenny gets to give Jenny the red and yellow dice. So we need 3 terror and 5 research and 9 dice. And we've got plenty of ways to mitigate this. And I don't think I ever gave Agnes her clue back. Okay, now that we've got all that straight, let's have this, Jenny. Okay, yeah, I can take the 5 research, and I'll go ahead and lock the terror on Rack. So now we're in a situation where we actually only need 1 terror, because Agnes now has a spell that she can cast to get us to it. Oop. Go ahead and roll that through. Which I don't need to use right away, so I'll discard the 3 research and focus that terror on Jenny. I'd like to save that spell if I can, that Evocation of Horus that Agnes just got. What was in here? Well, a wild card will work. So we'll take the focus and the terror that we focused on, or that we secured on Jenny's Rack. So that's gone, and Lost Carcosa is now complete. So we get a spell back. We find Summon Guardian Spirit. Discard when any investigator fails an adventure. That investigator does not suffer any of that adventure card's penalties. Okay, we got another clue. Most importantly, though, we get 2 Elder Signs. Come on. There we go. There's 1 and there's 2. Which brings us up to 6 Elder Signs. Again, effectively 7, because Agnes has 1 in her back pocket with her 10 trophies. That will give Jenny a trophy value of 2. And then we don't replace that adventure, because that's an Otherworld adventure. Bring the dice tower and the dice out of shot. And then that will be, clock phase will bring us 6 o'clock to Carolyn. Carolyn isn't even looking at the board just yet. First she's going to use the museum map before moving to get rid of horrible visions, because we do not want to be adding 2 Doom tokens to the track every midnight, because that's going to make the game go very quickly. So replacing that, stay away from the windows, 8 research and 2 peril. Passing gets you 2 elder signs, failing loses you a sanity, advances doom by 1, and you lose 2 health. That I think is probably more manageable. That might be another Jenny adventure. Anyway, Carolyn's actually going to pass the turn at the entrance, and she'll spend her 2 trophies to go back down to 0, but heal her sanity to full. So that will do it for Carolyn. Clock phase will bring us to 9 o'clock, and that will bring us to Trish. So what is Trish doing? We can ignore adventure arrows, which makes this tempting, but Jenny is almost certainly going for this next turn. Our next Doom's putting a monster out, which is going over unnatural habitat. Yeah, I kind of want to try this walking the ledge, and I want to try to take advantage of the fact that we can ignore arrows today. So, with that, let's zoom in on Trish. Before she moved, Carolyn would have used her psychology to heal Trish to full. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get our 6 dice. And Trish can ignore, like I said, because of our Mythos card, Trish can ignore arrows on this adventure. So if we get 2 peril, we can take that right off the bat, and that's actually very tempting. But we gotta see what we roll first. Well, we'll take the 1 anyway. Yeah, that's fine. Wow. We'll take the 2 here, and then we just need 1 more. That'll work. So we get that, which means we get another clue. 2 more common items. So first up, Tommy gun, which gets plus both. That will be very handy to have. And an ancient tome, which gives plus just the yellow die. So that's also 2, 4, 6. That's also our 7th elder sign, which once again is effectively 8 because of the 1 Agnes has in her back pocket. And then Trish will go up to a trophy value of 6, but we'll take a look at the flavor text here first. The vertigo left me dizzy and sweating. Each footstep was a heroic feat of will. So that brings Trish up to a trophy value of 6. We'll get those out of shot. Trish will go back up to the entrance, and we need a fresh adventure. So we find Dreaming of a Stranger for 2 trophies. Lose 1 and 1 at the start, then you need 2 lore and a peril, then a terror. Passing will get you a common, a unique item, an otherworld adventure, and an ally. Failing advances doom by 1. But anyway, clock phase will bring us to midnight, and that will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. Nothing happens at midnight because we got rid of the only at midnight effect, so we find Weakness shown. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track unless all investigators have 2 or more stamina, and I think they all do. Yep, just barely. Amid the stillness, there is no lingering effect for today. So that's actually a very good card to duck. So everything flips. So all of our ladies flip over, and we'll start a new round off with Agnes. The 2 adventures I really want to get done this turn are Dreaming of a Stranger and Stay Away from the Windows. I don't know who's going to be taking on each one, but let's try one any investigator. Okay, I was just double checking one of Jenny's items. So I think before I do anything, I'll discard Heal to restore Agnes to full stamina, since we were able to duck the Mythos card there. Then I'll bring her down to Unnatural Habitat, I guess. Like I said, there's really not much that there's not really much pressing on the board other than these 2 adventures. And again, Agnes has got some ways to mitigate things in her back pocket. So let's zoom down and get into Agnes's turn. I could get by with rolling one of those 3 results naturally, but I'd rather roll at least two of them naturally. So we need 2 peril and 3 research. Well, I do roll 2 of them naturally, so I'll take this lore, secure it on Agnes's astral travel, but remember, when Agnes secures a die on one of her spells, I can change it to any result I need. So I'll change it to a peril and lock it and secure it like that. So that's completed, which means Agnes gets a spell back. So she will find Flesh Ward, which is just another secure a die spell. But we get the flavor text on here. I cannot abide these stuffed beasts. Stand too close and their claws catch me. Watch them too keenly and their glass eyes follow me. That's another trophy value of 1, bringing Agnes up to 14. Get the dice tower out of shot. Agnes will go back up to the entrance, and for a new adventure we'll find... Oh boy, break on through, locking a green die. Lore, lose a health. 3 research and another lore. Passing gets you another world adventure and a common item. Failing loses 1 and 1. So we got a little bit greedy, but not too bad, I don't think. But anyway, that will do it for Agnes. So now let's move. The clock phase will bring us 3 o'clock to Jenny. I wanted to send Jenny after Stay Away from the Shadows this turn, but I figure I'm going to need most of my dice to go after these 2 adventures. So I think I've got to bring Jenny down to break on through to try to get that green die freed up for our other adventures. And just to make sure I have enough firepower at this, do I want to toss a clue to get her? That's probably overkill, honestly. Yeah, I will toss a clue though to get her the red and yellow dice, just because I want to make sure I have the absolute best chance I can get to release that green die, because we're going to need it for the other 2 big adventures. So anyway, let's move down to Jenny. I'm probably overkilling this adventure, but I need that green die free too much to take a chance on it. Let's see, we'll take the 3 research, and a lore. So now I just need another lore and lose a sanity, which I can deal with. We do get the lore in there. Jenny will lose a sanity for that. But we have cleared break on through, so she'll get a unique item out of this. The green die is free. That green die is free again. So we'll get a unique item. Jenny will find. Powder of Ibn Ghazi to give her the red die. Okay, and then we'll get an Otherworld adventure out for that. We will find Ancient Sarnath. Entry for 3 trophies. Entry, lose 1 or 1. 4 research, or 4 investigation, a terror, and lose a sanity. 3 research, 2 a terror, and a lore. Passing gets you a clue, an elder sign, or clue, a unique item, and 2 elder signs. Failing loses you 2 and 2. And then break on through for Jenny, the flavor text here. With a shriek, the very fabric of reality came apart in my hands. Alright, so that brings Jenny up to a trophy value of 4. We'll replace it with a new museum adventure. Jenny will go back to the entrance. And here we will find 12 research. It's quiet. 2 trophies. At midnight, discard this adventure and do not replace it. Passing you gets you an elder sign and 2 clues. Failing advances doom by 1. So we could potentially... Let's see. Well, anyway... Let's go back, let's go into the clock phase. 6 o'clock, and we'll move back up top into Carolyn's turn. We now have enough elder signs on the board that I'm starting to look at how do we close this game out at this point. So at the start of Carolyn's turn, she'll heal Jenny back up to full sanity. What do we want Carolyn to do right now? She's going to need her Reach of the Mind for mitigation on somebody else's turn, most likely. Do I think I can roll 12 research in 7 dice? And I'm putting a monster out, which it can go anywhere right now. There's a case to be made as well to have Carolyn just take the turn off and get some first aid. So, yeah. The question is, who do I think? I think I'm probably going to bring Trish to Dreaming of a Stranger this turn and try to clear that, because I've got the third eye that I can use on that as long as I roll a skull, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. That doesn't answer the question of what Carolyn's doing this round. Yeah, I think Carolyn's just going to pass the turn, healing a free stamina. So clock phase will bring us to 9 o'clock. I'll flip Carolyn's mini card over. And before we jump into Trish's turn, I need to take a small break to change the battery out. While I was changing the battery before Trish's turn, I took a quick, okay, let's think about this break. There is a way I can close the game out here, and I think we're going to go for it. So Trish, I was going to bring her down to Dreaming of a Stranger, but instead, I'm going to bring her down to Stay Away from the Shadows. And then with that, we'll move down and get into Trish's turn. I know this is kind of an all-in play, but we do have a decent shot at pulling this off. So, Trish is going to use the Tommy gun to get the red and yellow dice. And then we need 8 investigation and 2 peril. Which should not be a huge ask. We got some mitigation on this. That's a cocked die, but I don't think it's going to matter ultimately. Because I think we're going to take the wild card as a... What do I trust my ability to roll more? Probably investigation statistically. So I'll take the wild card as a peril and stack it there. And then we'll run this back. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll work. No need for anything cute here. So we'll take the 5, 6, 7, 8. And all we get for that is part 1 of the plan in motion, which gives us two more Elder Signs. But it's also another trophy value of 2. And we get the flavor text. As much... What in the world is that word? Oh, it's an F. The font here is hard to read. As much as I fear the... Oh, yeah, this font is terrible. As much as I fear the dark places among the exhibits, I fear the pools of pale moonlight even more. I have learned all too well to stay away from the ornate windows throughout the museum. Yeah, the font is thematic, but it makes it really hard to read, especially when you're trying to immerse yourself in the narrative part of that. But anyway, that will flip Trish over. We'll get a fresh adventure out, and then we will find... A terrible discovery for 2 trophies. Need 3 research, a terror, and lose a sanity. 2 lore and lose a sanity. Passing gets you 2 clues, and an elder sign. Failing loses you 2 more sanity. With that, the clock advances to midnight, and we're going back up top for the Mythos phase. At midnight, its quiet gets discarded and we don't replace it. So anyway, Mythos card. Jeez. Shadowy entities. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track unless there are 2 or fewer monsters in play. There's only 1 in play right now, which is amazing against Shub-Niggurath. Amid the stillness, there is no lingering effect for today. Alright then, well... I think our plan is working so far. But anyway, we're into a new round, and let's move in to Agnes. Part 1 of the master plan was to close out the game here, was Trish clearing Stay Away from the Windows for 2 Elder Signs. We cleared that. Part 2 of the plan, Agnes is going to cash in her pocket 10 trophies. 5, 10. We use 3 museums and her alchemical process to get the 10 trophies. These are all museum, yes. And then that's gone. So Agnes will buy... Come on. Come on. There we go. So Agnes will buy our 10th Elder Sign of 12. So Agnes is now down to a trophy value of 4. Clock phase for her brings us to 6 o'clock. Or not 6, 3 o'clock into Jenny's turn. She'll move into Ancient Sarnath. With that, we'll move down to Jenny's turn. On entry, Jenny loses a sanity. Then I'm going to discard Summon Guardian Spirit to get both the red and yellow dice, and Jenny is still blessed as well. So we're looking for 4 research, then a terror, then lose a sanity, then 3 research, a terror, and a lore. And we've got rerolls and plenty of mitigation. So, Jenny, no pressure. It's time to be the heroine of Christmas in Arkham now. Let's see, I'll put those to the side since that'll leave my options open, and I'll start with Jenny's clue for a reroll. So I kept the 4 research on a red and the lore on a green. Okay, so I think we'll take the 4... Actually, we'll take the 3... Yep, we got a lore. So we'll take 3 on a green, the terror, and a lore. And then we'll actually include the red die as part of the rerolled stuff as well. Okay, next I will use the... Oh, I forgot I had Dread Curse of Azathoth because I'm an idiot. Carolyn will then use Reach of the Mind for a reroll, and I'm going to keep the... let's keep the 3... Actually, you know what? No. Never mind. We actually don't need the reroll here because... And it's not going to be Carolyn who saves the day here. It's going to be Agnes who saves the day because we have the 4 research that we need. So I'm going to take one of the green dice, secure it to the evocation of Horus, which changes it into a terror. Because anytime Agnes secures a die on one of her spells, she can change it. So we take the 4 investigation, the terror. Jenny loses a sanity for that. We'll do this by the book. So we'll get the clue. So we'll get the clue back that we tossed in. We'll get her the unique item anyway. Jenny finds. Enchanted Arrow. After any investigator rolls dice, discard to defeat a monster. If it has a lore requirement, also draw 1 spell. But most importantly, however, that would be discarded if I'm doing this by the book. We get our last 2 Elder Signs, which will bring us up to 12 Elder Signs on Shub-Niggurath, and we have 1 Elder Sign, which also means we have finished a 3-0 sweep of Christmas in Arkham. So with that, let's move to a special shot and we'll wrap this video up. With that, Christmas in Arkham 2022 comes to an end, and we have actually managed to sweep Shub-Niggurath, somewhat to my surprise. Anyway, it's been another great campaign for Christmas in Arkham, and I would say we did a lot better than the Summer of Lovecraft when we got blown up by Nyarlathotep, but what do I know? Anyway, enough rambling on that front. I'm going to be traveling this week out to my family's to spend Christmas with my family, but I do plan to shoot a few videos while I'm out there for you guys, my YouTube family. I would be very surprised if I don't have at least 1 product unboxing while I'm out there. Wednesday we're going to move back into space for a couple videos, and in the name of sticking to shorter videos for Wednesday, we're going to play Star Realms. Now, I could take liberties with the length of the video due to having the rest of the year off from work, but I'm going to stick to a short video, and I'll explain more about that why in an end-of-the-year chat I'm planning to have with you guys. As for next week, Christmas Day is actually on Sunday, and while I don't want to shoot a video on Sunday, I do want to still shoot a video while I'm out there. I'll shoot it prior, but I'll probably still upload it on Christmas Day. We'll stay in space for Christmas week, as we pivot to another game I've played on the channel recently that I've really been enjoying, actually, and it has a lot of depth to it. We're going to play Gaia Project again. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.